Maths Masterclass with Leo. Let me teach you a bit of math.
Let me teach you a bit of math, okay?
In this channel, we'll be dealing with learners who are in grade 10, grade 11 and grade 12. We'll be dealing with learners who are below average, average and above average. Actually, when you talk about learners who are below average, you're talking about from level 1 to level 3 learners. Average, you're talking about level 3 to level 4. And then above average, you're talking about level 5 to level 7. We'll also be dealing with learners who want to rewrite maths. They've been struggling with maths. And then we'll be dealing with ways to answer questions, how to attempt questions, how to actually pass maths. And then we'll be dealing with question papers, paper 1 and paper 2. You know those simple chapters in paper 1 when you talk about the average learners or below average learners. You know those questions. And then when you talk about paper 2, you know those questions, you know those chapters, statistics, and so forth and so on. Hello grade 12s, welcome back to it. It's Maths Masterclass with Leo. Today we are doing number patterns. Number pattern contributes a lot of marks towards our exam, right? So we need to pay attention to it as well, as it contributes a lot of marks. In most cases, it can be 15 plus 9. What is 15 plus 9? I believe 15 plus 9 it's 24 marks. And 24 marks, it's a lot, right? 24 marks is a lot. So now, let's check what we mostly knew from, or we know from grade 10. Okay, let's start with linear pattern. Linear pattern, we did it in grade 10, which is simple, but it's more advanced now in grade 12. Okay, now we know that in a linear pattern, the original or the general equation is equals to a, Tn is equals to a into n minus 1, plus bracket d. That is our original formula or the general equation, right? And then we know that we have this, which represents the first term, which is, okay, let me just write it in words. This represents the first term of the sequence, right? A is equals to T1, which represents the first term. If you have an example of, let's say I have x is to x plus 2 is to x plus 3, this, it is my T1, and it is equals to A, right? And then we have another equation, or okay, before we continue, what is the value, what is that we know it as? It is the position, position of each term. This is the position of each term in a sequence, right? That is n, and n can never be less than 0, meaning n cannot be negative, right? N can never be negative, right? Again, n cannot be a fraction. If it cannot be a fraction, similarly, it cannot be in decimals, right? In decimals. Don't say, okay, I got my n as 4.5, then I can just round it and say this is my n. My n is equals to 5. This is wrong, guys. This is wrong. When you calculate your n should be positive and should be a whole number. Don't say, oh, but if I got 3.9999, I can round it to 4. You should get exactly 4, right? As a whole number when you calculate the value of n. I hope we are together there. Then now we also have Tn. Tn represents is the term. It is the term in the sequence. Right? Let's say I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Then that is my sequence. This, it is Tn, but you can represent this as T5, right? This, it is Tn, right? Okay, this should be 1, 2, 3, 4. This is T4, this is T3, right? This, it is your Tn as well. That is why we say Tn, it is the term in the sequence. Tn, it is the term in the sequence. But which term is it? It will be determined by the sequence on the pattern, your pattern, right? If it is sequence number 3, you can just represent it as T3. Or if it is the term in the sequence, which is the third term in the sequence, you can just represent it as T3. If it is this one, you can just represent it as T4 because it is the fourth term in your sequence. Hope you understand. Now, we have another equation that says, okay, we have an equation that says T or D is equals to T2 minus T1, right? This D is the common difference. That one, we all know it, right? It is the common difference. And this is how you can calculate D. Even if you use this one, you say T3 minus T2, you still get the same difference because we are talking about a linear pattern, right? Because we are talking about a linear pattern. Now, we have another equation. Now, this one, we didn't do it in grade 10. We will start with it in grade 12, which is that A plus L, right? Which this L represents the last term, right? L represents the last term. If they say you have 51 terms in a sequence, it means L is equals to 51, right? L is equals to 51. Or L is the product, not 51, but L is the product of 51, right? We will do an example that requires us to use this L, right? And then we have Sn, where Sn, it is the sum of the first n terms in the sequence. The sum of the first n terms in the sequence, right? Then we'll also be doing questions that will require us to use or to calculate the value of Sn, right? Okay. Let me get another paper. Okay, there. Okay, now we are talking about, there's another equation that we can use to calculate the value of Sn, which is your, where is it? Is your Sn equals to n divided by 2 into 2a plus into n minus 1, close bracket, d, right? That is my formula. Then, you also need to know this, Tk. Tk is the sum of Sn in the sequence, or of the sequence, right? Then the formula can be written as, okay, Tk equals to Sn, like that, right? And then now let's take a question from linear pattern, a simple question from linear pattern, and then we try to solve it. Then we'll be going to the more complex one. I'll be taking some from the previous question papers. Let me just take a simple one, then we deal with it. We have a very simple question that says, okay, you have 6, you have 13, you have 20, right? This is your sequence, and then they say, A, you need to calculate, determine the formula. Okay, you need to calculate, okay, let me just write determine here, determine the formula, and then of the nth term, and then B, they say calculate or determine the 21st term in the sequence. C, determine which term of this sequence is 97. Okay, we need the term that is which term of the sequence is 97. Right, then we need to calculate that. Good people, this is just an example. They won't be giving you such questions. If you get such questions, it will be your lucky day. You'll be lucky, right? Okay, you ain't getting such questions. Okay, now let's just do this one so that everyone is comfortable, and it's a bit of a reminder from grade 10 and grade 11. Okay, now we have this. They say calculate the nth or the general term, the general formula. How can I calculate the general formula? I'll be using, what do we call, Tn equals to a plus into n minus 1 close bracket d. Why am I using this formula? Because we are talking about linear pattern, right? This formula is for linear pattern. Now I need to write this, or I need this formula, right? But remember, T1 equals to UA, and equals to, in this case, equals to 6, right? Then do I have D? I don't have D, but I can calculate the value of D. How can I calculate the value of D? I can just say, okay, for me to calculate the value of D, I can just use the D is equals to T2 minus T1, where T2, I think I have 13 minus T1, I have 6. This will just give me, I believe it will give me 7, right? Then I can just say substitute D on my formula. T n is equals to a plus into n minus 1 close bracket d, right? Where a, it is the first term. In this case, I believe it is 6 plus into n subtract 1 close bracket. D is 7, right? And then I'm gonna have, remember, Botmas rule says deal with the bracket first. Botmas, deal with the bracket first, right? Oh, what's this? It's supposed to be Botmas, like that. Yeah, deal with the bracket first. I'm gonna have 6 plus this multiplied by that is gonna be 7n. This multiplied by that is gonna be minus 7. Then I'll be having 7n minus 1. That is my general formula. The second question says I must calculate the 21st term in the sequence. I must calculate the 21st term in the sequence. I'm given the position. I'm given Tn, right? I'm given the position of the, what am I supposed to calculate? The position, it is T21, right? I'm gonna have T21 equals to 7 into 21 subtract, what am I subtracting? I'm subtracting 1. I'm supposed to calculate the 21st term in the sequence, right? I'm given the position, which is position 21. Now I'm gonna say 7 multiplied by 21 is gonna be 47. Then this will give me 147. Subtract 1, this will just give me 146. In position 21, I have that, right? 146. And then the last question, C, it says I must calculate determine which term of this sequence is 97, right? Determine which term of this sequence is 97. What am I calculating? I need to calculate n, right? N, the position. Now I'm calculating the position. Tn equals to 7n subtract 1, but I have this, right, which is 97 is equals to, in position, I don't have the position. I'm calculating the position. Take this to the other side. I'm gonna have 7 plus 97 plus 1 equals to 7n, then this will give me 98 equals to 7n, then divide by 7, therefore n is equals to 97, 98 divided by 1, divided by 7 is equals to 14. There, you see, my value of n is positive and it is not in decimals. Okay, now let's continue to take the one that will be a bit tricky, questions that they'll be asking you on the exam. Right, let me just take one from that, or actually two before we continue. Okay, I got this question from the 2020 November question paper. These are the type of questions you need to expect from your linear pattern or arithmetic pattern, right? The first question says determine T51. This is 3 marks, right? The second question, the sum of the first 51 terms, right? And then the third question says this thing that you have, write down the expansion of this thing that you have, show only the first 3 terms and the last term of the expansion, right? Then after calculating that 4.3, you have 4.4. I'll write it down. Okay, let's just do this 3 and then I'll write the 4.4 down. Okay, now we need to calculate, determine T51. We know that 51, it is the position of the term in the sequence, right? We know that 51, it is the position of the term in the sequence. Therefore, 51 represents the value of n, right? But this is a linear pattern. We need to write it in terms of Tn plus, or Tn is equals to A plus into n minus 1 close bracket D, right? There. But we have our first term, which is, I believe, is 5. Our first term is 5. But we don't have D. We need to calculate the value of D, the difference, right? Then remember D is equals to T2 minus T1, because we are still talking about linear pattern. T2, it is 7 minus 5, then this will give me 2. Then we continue to write our equation into n subtract 1 close bracket. Okay, what is this? This is 2. That is our difference, right? But they said we need to calculate T51 equals to 5 into 51 subtract 1 close bracket 2. Then this is gonna give us, okay, this is plus, sorry, 5 plus into 50 close bracket 2. I believe all in all will give us 105, right? All in all they'll give us 105. Now, the sum of the first 51 terms, right? The sum of the first 51 terms. 51 terms, this, it is the last term, right? But the number that we got for the last term, T51, it is there, right? And then now, we can just go straight to the formula and say T, okay, we need the, what do we need? The sum of the first 51 terms, right? The sum of the first 51 terms, we are looking for Sn, okay? We can use this one over 2 into A plus Z. You can use this one or you can use this one. Okay, I'll show you how to use them both. But I'll start with the simplest. 2A plus into n minus 1 close bracket D. There, right? Let me start with this one. I have the value of n. What is the value of n? My position in this case, it is 51, right? Over 2 into the value of A, it is 5. What is the value or the value of my last term? The value of my last term, it is that. That is the value of my last term, plus 105, right? When I calculate it, it's supposed to be giving me, what am I supposed to be getting? 51 over 2 into 5 plus 105. What is my answer? 2805. I have 2805, right? Let me use the second equation to calculate that, right? What is the value of n? n is 51 over 2 into, what is this? 2 into first term is 5 plus into that, I believe it's 51, subtract 1, close bracket. Remember, we calculated d, we got 2. Right? Then I'm going to have 51 over 2 into, okay, 2 multiplied by that, it's 10 plus, okay, this is going to give us 100. When you do everything, this will just give us 51 over 2 into 110. Then this will give me, let's just punch it and say 51 over 2 into 110, close bracket. There, see, I'm getting 2805. There's my final answer. You see, my final answers are the same, whether I use this formula or I use this formula. But I need to know how to use this formula. You cannot always use this formula. You can always use it when they say the sum of the first 15 terms. Oh, if I have T15, then I can use it to substitute it here. If they say the sum of the first 100 terms, okay, I can use it. Okay, T100, I can substitute the value of T100 that I got here, right? Okay, let's continue. Let me just do the third question, 4.3. Okay, the question that we had, because I'm out of space, they say 4.3, right? Okay, or is it right or expand? Write down the expansion of, write down the expansion of 5000. This is 5000. N is equals to 1, then into 2n plus 3. Okay, then what do we need to write for that expansion? They say show the first 3 terms and the last term, right? First 3 terms and the last term. There's the question. Right, now guys, listen, this represents the last term. This is your last term, which is your T5000, right? Then we will be having the value of this. What is the value of the last term, right? And then this, okay, now we need to calculate the first 3 terms. How am I calculating the first 3 terms? This represents that our term will start at 1. The first position is 1 up to position 5000, right? From position 1 to position 5000. Now we need to calculate the first 3 terms. I'm having 2n plus 3 as my equation. Okay, now I'll have 2 into 1 plus 3. This will just give me, is it 1? Not 1, but 5. Because 2 times 1 is 2 plus 3 is 5, right? Okay, second term, I'll have 2 into 2 plus 3. This will give me, okay, I believe this will give me, this is 4 plus that, it's 7. And then as you continue, 2 into 3 plus 3, this will give me 6. 6 plus this will just give me 9. Now they say up to the last term, but we know the last term or the last position should be 5000, right? The last position should be 5000. I'm just gonna say T, okay, not T, but 2 into 5000 plus 3, right? What is this? This will just give me 10,000. 10,003. Yeah, it will give me, did I write it well? Yeah, 10,003. That is the last term of the sequence, right? This is how you will answer this question. This represents the last position. The last position, this represents the first position, position 5000, from position 1 up to position 5000. That is why you see me substituting where there's n substituting 5,000, right? Then getting my answer is 10,003. I hope you understand. Let's move to the next question. It's 4.4, and then we will be doing okay. This is the question that I was talking about. They say from the question that we did 4.3, that we were calculating we were expanding. We had to write 3 terms of the sequence and the last term, right? From that question, they say calculate this one. Calculate the sum of this, you add it with the sum of that, right? Now, some students will go to some extent of saying, okay, because I've expanded that side, I can just expand this side as well. That is just a long try. That is a very long try. Because you can just use the formula and say, okay, I have my Sn equals to n divided by 2 into 2a plus into n minus 1. Close bracket d. For this one. Now we're talking about for this one of 5,000, right? Right? What is the value of n? The value of n in this case, my position is 5,000, right? I can say 5,000 divided by 2 into 2. The first term, it was for this one, it was 5 plus into 5,000, subtract 1, close bracket. Then when you add them together, let's get a calculator and say 5,000 divided by 2 into 2 into 5 plus into 5,000 minus 1, close bracket. I believe, okay, I forgot to write the value of, should have the value of d here. Remember the value of d we calculated and got it as 2, right? And then multiply by the value of d, which was 2. Then it's giving me that, which is a very big number. I don't know if it's 25 million or what, but it's 25 or 250 million. 250. No, it's 25 million and 20,000 and 200,000. Yeah, hey, numbers will show you who they are. Actually, it's in 20. There's the number 25020000. How many zeros? 4. There, right? And then we got that. Let's calculate the next one. The next one, for me to calculate the value of Sn here, I got the value of Sn here. I need the value of Sn here. How am I going to get it? But I don't have the value of d here. I can just calculate it and say, okay, let me just take the first 3 terms. I have minus 2 into 1, minus 1. This will give me minus 3. Then another one, let's take minus 2 into 2, minus 1. This is minus 4, minus 5. Let's take the last one, minus 2 into 3 minus 1. This will give me minus 7, right? And then let's just take the common difference. D is equals to T2 subtract T1. My T2 is minus 5, minus into minus 3, and this will give me minus 5 plus 3. This is minus 2, right? Then I can use my formula that says Sn equals to n divided by 2 into 2a plus into n subtract 1, close bracket d. And then what is the value of n? It's 4999 divided by 2 into 2. Value of the first term, it's negative 3 plus into 4999 subtract 1. Then d, it's minus 2. Then let's punch the calculator and see what we get. We have 4999 divided by 2 into 2 into negative 3 plus into 4999 subtract 1, okay, into negative 2. Then it's giving me minus 24,246 minus 24,111,999 minus 24,999,999. Okay, now remember the equation says we need to add S of 5,000 plus S of 4,999, right? That is what we need to do. We got 25,000 and what was it? 25,000 and 25 million and 20,000. Numbers will just show you who they are. Plus into minus 24,999,999. No, did I just say 24,000? 24 million. Okay, now when I add that plus 25 million and 20,000, what is it giving me? 20,001. See, that is my final answer. I hope you enjoyed my class. Please subscribe, like and comment. If you have a problem, leave it on the comment section and then we'll discuss it later. Thank you. Bye.